All right, YouTube. So this video today, we're actually making this on the couch. It's Therapy Thursday. So welcome back. And what are we talking about today? We're going to have a therapeutic session on some of the things that I think will help you from a photography perspective, new concept. And we will kick this off. It probably won't be perfect to begin with, but we will get there and we'll continue to evolve this thing. And it's a very different concept. No one's really doing it. We're tying sort of our mental health to, the photography that we do and we practice. So photography is a practice similar to yoga and other things that you do. If you don't practice it, not really going to be very good at it, right? You can buy a yoga mat every week or every, new iteration that a new mat comes out. That doesn't mean that you're practicing yoga. You just are buying and acquiring things. Same thing with camera gear. You can buy all the gear that you want, do all the things that you want to do, which is nice. And you can continue to do that. But at the end of the day, is it really going to help you? I don't know. So sit back, relax. If you have a couch that you want to actually sit on, like the one I'm sitting on here, go for it. Just be comfortable and have a very candid conversation here. So this particular one today, I wanted to talk about, there's a lot of uproar in the photography community in the last week to 2 weeks, ever since the Canon R5 has been introduced, about the Canon batteries to begin with. Let's start there. So Canon made a new battery for the R5 Mark II because of the higher power requirements that the camera actually needs with the new processor that they have in there, and being able to do some of the additional functions of 8K60, all of these different things that they've done. They obviously put in vents into the camera, and so they went to town and they figured out they actually need more higher voltage continuously being sent to the camera to be able to maximize some of those features. Having said that, they probably have certain things in the camera which actually keep it from doing damage to the camera. What does that mean? So if you're buying the grip for the camera and you're putting in one Canon LP-E6P, that's, I believe, is the new battery. If you're putting that battery in there, and then you're putting something else other than another P battery, it probably is not going to let you turn it on. And is that a bad thing? I don't think it is. I think it's fair because, secondly, the camera does not know what third-party battery that you're sticking in there and what are the power requirements and what is the sustainability of that battery, because it has not been tested by the brand itself. Same thing where Nikon does the same thing, Sony does the same thing. I'm pretty sure they have protection faults built into their cameras so you don't fry the electronics in the camera. Having said that, is that a bad thing? I don't know. The third-party brands are going to have to sort of figure out if they want to if they want their product or their battery to work inside this R5 Mark II from Canon and actually come out and be able to use the 8K60, the 30 frames per second, 14-bit RAW, all of these things, right, which could be limited. They're probably going to have to change their design a little bit, right? And that always happens when you have new cameras come out, new technologies get put in, new, protection faults get put in. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're trying to protect their camera. Where if you put in a bad battery in there and it fries your Canon camera, I'm pretty sure you're going to go crying to Canon, right? You're not going to go crying to Small Rig, for example, and saying, oh, you fried my R5 Mark II. And they're going to be like, we gave you an LPE6 battery. If you fried your camera, go to your brand. What do you think Canon's going to do? What battery did you use? And they'll figure it out that you used something that was not approved by Canon. And then you're going to have the heartburn into saying, it fried my camera and now Canon wants $600 to fix it. My thing is simple. I've said it in my previous videos and I've said it in comments. If you're buying a $4,300 camera and you cannot afford a $79 extra battery as compared to a third-party battery that might be $50, you shouldn't be buying the camera. Don't buy the camera. Please cancel your order. Because honestly, you're making a very big mistake. These are not cheap toys. These are expensive electronics that you're buying. This is not the same as buying a $300 camera and sticking some battery in there, no big deal. 4,500 bucks could mean rent payment for someone for 4 months. I'm just putting it in a perspective for you. And for that same someone, the $79 could also constitute to, being able to eat out 3 times a week. So I understand it's only $79, but to someone it could mean a lot of money, right? So if that's the case, and if you're one of those, if you're buying the camera anyway, you're going to get one battery. If you need to get another one, wait another month. What's the hurry? It's not like you're running out there and shooting like Steven Spielberg type of thing that you need, 8K 60 running for 2 hours. I mean, maybe you do. And if you already have a gig like that lined up, $79 for a battery should be pocket change. But if you don't have a gig lined up like that, it's a moot point. So we have DP Review, Petapixel, all these guys, they're looking for views and attention. They did the same thing, topic number 2, right? They did the same thing with the R5 Mark II, dynamic range. What happened? They fell on their face because now Photons to Photo has actually released what it can do. You can watch my video, I'll link it here, on the dynamic range. It's better than most people thought it would be, right? So, secondly, when you take a RAW file from these cameras, the R1, R5 Mark II, the RAW converter is not even out yet. It's not officially released yet. Because the camera itself has not officially shipped. Some retailers gave the camera to some people, smaller stores, that gave it to their customers early. They shouldn't have done that because the official date is August 20th. So some of these people are feeling and having these issues because ultimately that was the date set forth by Canon, which means what? Everything that comes from a support perspective for the camera, the files, all of this, will come out on the 20th. And if you're making all these videos ahead of time, because the camera ain't doing something or it's not looking good on something that you're doing, that's on you, right? So this couch session is more personal because I want you guys to just think about it. What are we really supporting, guys? If you watch my last 2 to 3 videos and this whole week that, what we've been doing, they're going to continue it next week and the week on, and so on and so forth. Every week, something different. This is because in all of these conversations, we are losing the essence of photography. Photography is not present. It's gear bashing, gear acquisition, and getting self-affirmation from people that I bought this camera. I am cool. Well, that's great. What did you produce with it? I showed you some stuff that I produced with mine. Show me what you produce. Leave a link to your portfolio. Be proud of what you share. All right? Those kind of things. So it means more on what you're producing with this gear rather than just trying to show that you have it. You have it? Okay, that's great. That's step number 1. Step 2, you got to use it. Let's go out there, start using the gear that we have, and start producing some beautiful results. There will always be problems with every single brand, every single thing. Same thing with Sony, right? When they come out with a product, oh, they forgot to do this. Oh, they forgot to do that. Oh, they forgot to add this. So what? Same thing with Nikon. Oh, they forgot to do this. They got to do that. Whatever. Right? Yes, the Z6 III got beat up, topic number 3, for their dynamic range. Is it a bad camera? No. Because if you watch my video, right, this week that we did, and you understand exposure, the video from yesterday, Wide Open Wednesday, exposure and dynamic range, if you can expose and you can do it effectively and correctly, the dynamic range issue is something that you can actually control. Not that it's not an issue. It still is an issue because every ISO level that you move along the scale, it does impact the dynamic range, but you have a lot more control. Does that make the Nikon Z6 III a bad camera? Absolutely not. The question is, do you have the skill to get the most out of that camera? There are some people that are going to produce incredible magic out of it. There are some people that are going to produce nothing. They're going to shoot shots just like Petapixel does, and these guys do. Shoot it, underexposure by 6 stops, start to raise it. If you miss something by 6 stops on the exposure, forget about the dynamic range chart. You need help. Or maybe you need to go do something else other than photography because you missed the boat. Seriously, right? So watch my video and understand what happens to dynamic range, right? When you actually start to raise this ISO. I would rather not have 2 additional stops of noise in my photo to begin with if I can have a faster lens and or have additional light brought in to compensate. These are little tricks that we do as professionals, but nowadays everyone wants to shoot an ISO 12,800 and they think they're going to actually shoot like a Steven Spielberg blockbuster that everyone's going to pay money and show up to the theater to watch. Hasn't happened yet. Still waiting. Right? All these people think that they're going to just buy the next new camera, and all of a sudden, this entire community of all these people that comment all over the place are going to become their buddies and are going to support their lifelong filmmaking career or their photography journey or whatever. It's not going to happen. None of these people give a crap. Because everything that happens on YouTube, honestly, the world outside looks very different. I'm shooting this on my cell phone. No, it's not. Again, I'll say this. It is shooting ProRes on my Apple phone. It is. It looks cool. The picture is good enough. You guys can't tell the difference. It sounds good, looks good. Do I have an extra light? Sure, here. When God don't give you enough light, what do? You get your own light. You got enough light out here somewhere outside. But in here where I'm sitting on my couch, without turning those lights on, which is like, goofy colors, I like this light. So guys, use your common sense. This therapy session is also there to get you to realize things. So when we talk tomorrow on Focus Friday, we're going to take these concepts that we have for this week, which is what? Don't worry about what Canon, Nikon, Sony going to do. Worry about what you're going to do. You're going to learn exposure this week, and you're going to expose the best photos that you can expose, even if they're not worthy of hanging in a gallery. At least you know that you practiced the exposure of anything and everything you shot the right way. If you can do that and make it a point for Saturday and Sunday, which are shoot days, go out there and shoot pictures, you're going to come back Monday so fired up, ready to do Megapixel Mondays. And you'll realize that the more you shoot on the weekend and get your exposure better and better and better, the less and less Megapixel Mondays are going to be a topic of I need more resolution. Because now you're learning the game. Yes, it's nice to have resolution, but if you got the right exposure down and a beautifully shot image, you can do anything with it. With 4 megapixels, you can print a big ass print. But you gotta have it exposed right, all of that. The stars at the line. Next week, we'll also talk about lenses. And I have today received a package from a third-party vendor. And they have sent me their lens to review. And that review will be coming next week. And stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be a kind of an exciting one. that's coming your way. So it is on the Sony platform, Sony E-mount full frame lens, but it can also be used on a Nikon because I have the Sony to Nikon adapter, so I can use it on the ZF. And Canon, no, I can't freaking use it on the Canon RF. There's no adapter like that yet, and I don't think there will be one. But maybe when we talk next week, we can get Canon to actually give this brand the A-OK to go and actually make it for the RF mount, if they're not going to make that focal length. So with that, stay tuned. It's one that you don't want to miss. It's coming next week. So like, subscribe, be nice to each other. Go out there and actually hold someone's hand, give them a kiss on the cheek, and, you know, send them their way and say, now go out there and tackle the world and get the best exposed photo that you can take out there. With that, thank you, and I will talk to you tomorrow on Focus Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.